How's it going, everybody? I'm Marshall. Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. Today we're talking about the past two games for the Aggies that we haven't covered yet in the Arizona tip-off and how disappointing those losses were. Let's get straight into it. So first things first, the foulings just got out of hand. At first, I thought it was 50-50. I thought 50% of the calls that the refs made were bad. The other 50, being respectable, good calls. But some of those games in that tournament, it's just the fouling is just way too much. The big men, they haven't been playing as great. Robert's been playing his heart out, so shout out to him. Jaden played a great game. He played pretty well overall on the Arizona tip-off. Cook had a hard time finding a shot. Same with Zadi. It looks like this team's going to be, a home team, just like they were last year. Like I said, last year they were 12-3 at home and 1-13 on the road. Lost some, tournament games. They lost both the tournament games last year, both the tournament games this year. I know some people apparently were saying that all the teams were off in that Arizona tip-off. Weber State, Bowling Green, Pepperdine. So maybe it's just the arena they're playing in. Maybe they had a hard time shooting on those rims, but there's still no excuse. We played a way better game against Bowling Green, put together two great halves, but that game we were up by 4 with like a little less than a minute to go, right before the Aggie football game started before UTEP, and of course we lose that by 1. I was able to watch the end of it just because I was at the game for football, but apparently we had our shot blocked at the end for a game winner. Not sure who shot it. I would assume it was Cook, but please correct me if I'm wrong because I wasn't able to watch the ending of it, and I was too upset to even find out what it was all about because we're now 3-4. After winning our first 3, showed a lot of promise, lost the last 4. The 2 losses against UNLV and Dayton were respectable losses. Dayton's a really good team. They were blowing out UNC and blew that. They beat UConn, so that's a respectable loss. UNLV, we played hard all game. And UNLV actually destroyed Pepperdine, and we lost to Pepperdine. Pepperdine was 105 going into the game. I actually didn't even check who won between Pepperdine and Weber State in the championship game. I'll have to check that, notify you guys later. Again, if you guys know, that's cool. I was just too upset to even check because out of the 4 teams in it that I named, in my opinion, I'm not just trying to be biased, I thought we had the most skilled team, and I still think we do. Just couldn't put it all together. And apparently after the game that we lost against Pepperdine, that was the worst game we played all year so far. Because even against Dayton, even though we lost by 20, they were a respectable loss. Pepperdine, not a respectable loss. After the game, Coach Huden was talking to them in like 45 minutes, just getting on them and telling them that he never played that again. And it seemed to work a little bit because, again, they played a lot better that next game. But Bowling Green's still a team I think they should have beat. It's funny because we actually, for football, we played against Bowling Green in our bowl game 2 years ago. The Atlanta Bowl in Detroit where the Lions play. So it would have been cool to own them in basketball too. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But our football team beat Auburn last year. Basketball team obviously lost to Auburn in 2019. So I guess, they made up for that. Free throws are still a big issue. I believe we're shooting about 60% as a team right now through the first 7 games. Against Pepperdine, we only shot 3 for 8 at one point. I'm not sure how we finished with it. I was keeping up with it on Twitter because I also couldn't watch that game either. But I was keeping up with it, watching some highlights, do what I could do, get as much information as possible. And it just wasn't great. Again, with the team, the skill we have, a lot better than last year. Should have won those 2 games. We should have won that little tournament. We should be 5-2. But it's the past. Got to look forward. We play on Wednesday against Abilene Christian, who's a pretty respectable team. But I think at home, again, I think the team we can beat. I think these are a lot of winnable games, but just how are they going to finish it off? I would love for them to get up to a hot start like they did against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, but they got to finish out that game. If they're to get by 20 against Abilene Christian, they got to keep that 20-point lead, not blow it. Because the 2 games that they've won after beating Division II opponent New Mexico Highlands, they won those 2 games, but they almost blew them both. So they need to take care of business because both games they won, they won by double digits against Utah Tech, won by 1 against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Utah Tech also got down to 1. So we went from leading by double digits down to just 1. Luckily, we still didn't have to win, but we got to make sure we keep improving, and the chemistry will get better as time goes on. Last game, and the game before that, actually, against Pepperdine, Christopher Bayaku got in the game for a little bit. He wasn't able to do much, but he got a rebound, I believe. Jacoby Osborne Jr. got in the game against Bowling Green. Coach Huden was trying to make a statement like, hey, your spot can be taken. So he put in true freshman Jacoby. He's only played in 3 games this year. And he got a bucket. So, he did his part. He played his best. He played hard, trying to work for him to get minutes. Again, he's a freshman. Maybe one of these games, if Coach Huden keeps doing what he's doing, maybe he'll give Xavier Johnson a chance to get in the game and show what he can do. Because I believe if you come in and work hard, play defense, you're going to be, playing a lot more minutes. Speaking of the defense, it has improved for sure, but a lot of times they can't play defense without fouling. If they can just limit those fouls and stop fouling so much, they can win a lot more basketball games. Pepperdine, they let Pepperdine make like 20 free throws, I believe. We lost by 12. We win that game if we stop fouling. Against UNLV, they shot about 30 free throws, like I mentioned last video, and Coach Huden mentioned in that post-game conference or talking about it afterwards. We win that game too. So instead of being 5-2, we could honestly be 6-1. Dayton was just going to be a loss regardless because of how good they are. They're a Sweet 16 team. Every other game's been very winnable. So, and it's frustrating they were 3-4. It's just like, can we not just get at least one of those games? But it's still super early in the season. I don't want to be negative, but I do think that we need to beat Abilene Christian for sure, because if we lose that, that'll be our 5th straight loss going into playing against UNM and Texas on the road. UNM and Texas are going to be really tough teams to beat, especially Texas, and UNM's a big rival playing over there. If we hit them at our house in the Pan Am, I think we beat them, but on the road, it's going to be really difficult. So I would love for us to win this upcoming game to at least get to 4-4, and then we'll see how the UNM and Texas game goes. A lot of people are thinking that we could get blown out to UNM. Do not want that to happen. I'm always going to believe we have a chance. But if we do win, it's not going to be an easy win. I say if we win that game, it's going to be super close. If we can play the way that we did against Texas A&M Corpus Christi in that first half, we have a chance of beating most teams that we play against Texas. Again, if we win that game, it's going to be super close. It's going to be really challenging to win. We're going to be super underdogs. That's why I want to get a good win against Abilene Christian at home, get the guys some confidence, get another win going into those tough games. After those 2 games they play against UNM and Texas, though, the good thing is they don't play teams that good for the rest of the season until, if they were to, pull off, some crazy wins in the Conference USA tournament and make it to the March Madness. That'd be great. But Conference USA is actually looking really strong this year. I'll give them that. But UNM and Texas are by far better than most teams in Conference USA, if not all of them. Well, for sure, Texas. UNM, better than most of them, too. Kennesaw State's actually looking really good. They were picked to finish 10th, but they're looking good. We were picked to finish 7th. That's where I'm saying, look, it doesn't matter the pre-rankings. That's why I never get worried about them. We were picked to finish 7th. I still think we can finish 4th or 5th. Kennesaw State, who knows? Maybe they'll fall back down. Conference play hasn't started. We have Sam Houston and La Tech, probably 2 of the toughest teams in our conference at home to start. So that's great. Again, just sucks that it's during Christmas break, though, because I won't be able to be there. Most students won't be able to. But I'll still go to the game on the 16th against Southern Utah. Also, if you're a student watching this, please go to all the games, and you should go to the next game because you can get a $1,000 scholarship. They're doing a random draw. So you just got to enter your name in it, or maybe you get to the stadium. I'm not sure what side they'll do it at. Students, please fill the student section. Fans, please go to the games. That's going to help the team out a lot. I know a lot of those guys. I've talked to the coaches. It means the world to them when we can get big crowds. The more people we have, the better. If we get at least 8,000 people a game, I guarantee we'll win most of those games. And I still think we'll win a lot of the games regardless, whether we don't get that as much fans. I think last year we averaged just under 6,000 per game, which is like Conference USA. And that was a rebuilding year, so that's awesome. Now that we're in the second year of a rebuild, I expect that whenever to keep going up year by year. I expect us to keep on getting more wins. I know we've lost 4 straight, but please still go to the game on Wednesday because the team needs that. If the team doesn't see a lot of people in the crowd, they might be like, oh, shoot, people, are downing us. And, but if they're there, then, oh, dang, we lost 4 in a row. We're struggling a little bit right now. Lost to some teams that we shouldn't, but we have all these fans here. They're here to support us, and that's why the team last year was able to get 13 wins when that team more than likely probably wouldn't have won 13 games without us. And even Coach Hooten said that. I think without Coach Hooten and without our fan base, that team last year, who knows if they even got 10 wins. So the fan base is insanely good to have. Coach Hooten's a great coach for us. I know some people are saying things how he's blowing leads. It's not entirely on him. It's the team. They're blowing stuff. But hopefully they can just keep on improving and fix all their mistakes. Again, no game's perfect. I don't expect them to be perfect against Abilene Christian, obviously. I believe right in the first 5 minutes, it's probably going to be some mistakes I see, and I'm going to get frustrated already. But they're going to get frustrated with themselves. But they just got to, move on. That's what's going to happen. I'm expecting some big games out of a lot of our guys. Christian Cook, Jaden Harris, Zadie Jackson, Deontay Bostic. Us being back home, I think we have a good shot. Robert Carpenter, he's leading us in scoring right now with about 13 points a game, I believe. We have 4 guys scoring double digits a game, which is really good. That's some bright spots. Last year, we only had 2 guys, averaging double-digit points, Femi Udakali and Christian Cook. So if we can have 4 guys consistently score over 10 points, right now those 4 guys are Peter, Rob, Christian, Zadie. I believe Deontay can get up there too. That's 5 guys I think can potentially, score in double digits for the whole season. I think Carl can be a guy that can be in and out. I don't think he'll average double digits scoring for the whole year, but I think he can have those games or those moments where he gets up there. But if we have those 5 guys consistently, Jaden can obviously get close to that as well. But I don't think he'll get it. I think we can have 5 guys, scoring double digit points for us. In college basketball, if you have that, you're more than likely going to be a successful team. So again, I know we've struggled these past 2 games. Still early though. I mean, last year we started off 3-4, we're 4-6. I know we only finished 13-19, but we still pick it up whenever conference play started. We started off conference play 5-3. Our football team last year, 10-5, super good, but they started off the year 2-3. Year before that, got a bowl game, finished 7-6, won the bowl game, started off 0-4. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Again, it's super exciting knowing that we could be 5-2 or 6-1, but again, it's the pass. If the guys keep worrying about the pass, then they're not going to be great. Football team, for example, finished the year off 3-9, really upsetting. They were 1-0 after SEMO. SEMO's a respectable. They were like 9-3 in FCS, so that's a good win. They should have beat Liberty. They blew that game. They let it get too much to their head, and they had a 3-9 season. If they win that game, or if they don't let it get to their head at least, if they go 1-1, but they use that game as like a motivating factor, like, hey, let's not blow any more games like that. Who knows? Maybe they have a bowl game. So I'm just hoping the basketball team can use these last 2 losses as motivation to just keep on improving and beat teams that they should be able to beat, and just do great overall. Work on their mistakes and all that. Chemistry continue to improve. Again, after that Pepperdine game, they played way better against Bowling Green. I think Bowling Green's actually a better team than Pepperdine in my opinion, and they played a lot better against them, which is great. But I still don't think Bowling Green's as good of a team as us. Still thought we should have won it. Again, it's disappointing the way we lost, but we've dealt with this many times. I actually hurt my hand because of how mad I was. I was mad that we lost that game, and I was mad that our football team lost. I was mad that the Blazers lost last night because it was refs, and they were all super close games that we should have won. And so I hit my hand on the table really hard. I actually hurt it so bad at the point where I was lifting today, and I could still lift, which was good. So that means my hand's not like too bad. It's just going to be sore for a little bit. I was still able to lift up, but every time I went up, my hand hurt. And I tried to play basketball afterwards. I can only play my left hand because it just hurt to shoot. So hopefully that pain goes away soon. And I need to be smarter. I shouldn't have let the anger get to me. It was just everything, going on together. And I know it's not basketball wise, but our shout out to our women's volleyball team. They made it to the Conference USA Championship game against Western Kentucky for 2 years in a row. They did unfortunately lose it in 4 games, but last year they lost it in 3 games. So definitely improvement there. They beat UTEP. So they took care of our football team not being able to beat UTEP, but our volleyball team beat UTEP. But UTEP somehow got in the NCAA tournament. They got an automatic bid because they had 27 wins. Cool, but we beat them in the tournament. How come we're not going? So that really upset me. I don't know much about volleyball, so maybe it's just completely different than basketball. If you know anything about volleyball, please let me know why UTEP got over us, because we beat them in the tournament. Like, if they beat us in the tournament, they lost in the championship, I could understand it. But I don't think they deserve it just because of how we beat them. I thought if they get in, that's cool, but I think we should get in too. I don't think they should be in, not us. I think it should be both of us or us over them. That's just my opinion. Not trying to be a favorite, but that's just what I think. I would like to close out the video saying, I know it was kind of sounding like it was like a dark video, kind of how the last video was. When we win, it's super exciting. When we lose, it's super disappointing. If we lose to a good team, like when we make a video on Texas, if we lose that game, it's not gonna be that bad because it's Texas. But I just thought these games were winnable games. All over Twitter, people were upset. I was upset. But I still love this team. I love these guys. I love Coach Huden. I love being an Aggie fan, and I'm really rooting for their success. And I really do think they'll turn things around. And again, it's still super early. It's not like they're 1-6. They're still 3-4. With 3 of those games, should have been wins. So I think, as the season goes on and they're in those situations again, they'll turn those L's into W's. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Thank you for being real Aggie fans and sticking with the team. Please stick with them all year. I know they're going to do a lot of great things. I believe in them, and you should too. And just please be at the game on Wednesday if you're able to make it, and support them and help them, get the win. And because we do make a difference. I remember that game last year, we beat Western Kentucky. Coach Huden came to my friends and I, came to the whole student section saying that we're the reason they won that game because of how much we were cheering for them. Obviously, they're ones on the court, they're working, but we motivate them. That helps them out a lot. It makes a huge difference. If you don't think that, go to the games and you'll notice it. That's all I have to say. I'm out.